everyone, come on in because we got to talk about Love is Blind episode 2, y'all. We got a lot to talk about. Y'all, I'm not feeling good. I am not feeling good about these couples. I don't have a strong feeling about any of them. And let me tell you something. Anton, where is the ring? Where is the ring? On episode 1, we left off with Anton and Allie getting engaged. Let me tell you what I had a problem with at the reveal. First of all, y'all already know if you watched my episode 1, I was afraid about the looks disparity. I'm going to call it disparity. It is a disparity. Let me tell you something. Wealth for men is their money. That's their wealth. That's their power. Money, wealth, power. Women, their power is their beauty. You know what? I hate to tell y'all. But a woman's beauty is power. And I don't know how much money Anton has, but I'm going to tell you this. When he saw Allie, he realized right away she was more powerful. You know why? Because her beauty was more wealthy than whatever money he has, because I don't think he's a millionaire. If he were a millionaire, we wouldn't be having this conversation, but he's not. And when Anton saw Allie, I don't know if he just got so frazzled that he forgot the ring, because where was the get down on one knee and propose with a ring? Let me tell you what else I had a problem with. When she came up to him initially, she gave him the cheek. She sure did. She turned her face and she gave him the cheek. Now, afterwards, she came back and she kissed him. But you see, I like to pay attention to those very first moments when you're just in the moment before you realize the cameras are watching you and you go back and you clean stuff up. Did she come back later and give him kisses and was all, really, really sort of affectionate toward him? She was. But let me tell you, that initial moment when she walked up and she gave him the cheek, I don't know. It kind of concerned me. Let me tell you what else concerned me. He said, "Ooh, you're effing stunning." That's right. I know he didn't expect her to look like that. Who would? No one would ever expect the person you've met behind this wall to look like that. And he said, "You're more beautiful than I expected you to be." And really what he wanted to say was, "You're more beautiful than I wanted you to be." He didn't want her to be that beautiful. You see, because what I'm picking up on Anton is Anton has, I don't want to call it an ego because all men have an ego. And I might not even have the right word yet because I'm still getting to know him. But there's something about Anton where he likes to be top dog, which, okay, that's fine. He's the man. He want to be top dog. I got it. But something tells me that Anton is uncomfortable with the wealth of Allie. And when I tell you about the wealth of Allie, it is her beauty. It is her beauty. I don't know if it's going to come out in the form of insecurity. I don't know if he's going to end up being passive aggressive. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to tell you this. When they were drinking that champagne and she said, "Hold on a minute, I got to burp." And she turned her face and she burped. Now remember, Allie has told us that in the past she comes out harsher than she really is on the inside. She told us that. The tats, I think she's got an army background. Now here she is burping. Maybe some people would not feel like it's ladylike, right? Army, tats, turning your head to burp, right? But what I didn't like was when Anton, when she did it, he goes, "Ick." I didn't like it. To me, what that did was he took an opportunity to bring her down a notch. You see, when he approached her, he already felt like she was more wealthy and powerful than her. And I'm not talking about wealth. I'm not talking about money. Her beauty is her wealth. And so what happens is when you feel uncomfortable with someone else's wealth, whether it be their money, sometimes with their beauty, whatever you feel their currency is, and you feel that the playing field is not level, because in the looks category, it is not leveled. And honestly, I don't think he's got that much more money than Allie. I started to see Anton doing a few little things to level the playing field, and saying "ick" when she said she needed to burp. That was one of them. And let me tell you, the other one was when when they left each other and they went back to their prospective men's quarters. And In other Love is Blind, the woman goes back, and then the man, if he's really into her or really just awed by her, he will look back at her. He didn't even do it. He turned her back on that woman, and he kept walking. He walked all the way back into that little room, that waiting room. And instead of turning back and getting one last glimpse at this beautiful lady that he's just now is going to be his wife, he decided to pick up a champagne bottle and drink it. Didn't look back once. See, these are the little things. And then, I'm going to be honest about Allie. I don't know if I'm fully believing her. Like I said, the cheek was the first one. The second one was when she said he's a little manly. He's manly and musky. Manly and musky. And she says, I like a little musk. So he funky? And you want me to believe you like funky. Now, manly I can get with Allie, but you want me to believe that you like musky. And does musky mean musty? Is that the same thing, funky? So I don't know, y'all. I think it was good for the camera, but I got to see if this is real, and if Allie really is okay with him, and if Anton is okay with her, because right now I believe Anton feels like he's in an inferior position to Allie, and I hope he doesn't try to regain the power in the relationship by doing anything to her that might help try to bring her down. Like I said, where is the ring, Anton? Where is the ring? Why did you not present a ring? Anyway, but hey, like I said, so jury's still out. Jury is still out on that couple. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't a disaster. But I got question marks. I really do. And now we go back over to this other couple we've been seeing a lot of, Joe and Madison. They're not going to make it. I can tell you right now, they're not going to make it. I don't even think they're a good fit. And all of this bantering back and forth, that's really in the beginning of a relationship when everything is light and fun, the bantering seems fun. But what that tells me is deep down in there's a part of them that likes to banter. They like to go back and forth. And bantering can quickly move from bantering to arguing. It can. So initially, maybe you like all that bantering back and forth, but all day, every day, not at all. I'm not feeling these two. I'm not feeling Joe. I'm not feeling Madison. I'm not feeling them together. I know they've moved so quickly talking about moving in and, he want to give up his lease. I'm going to give up my lease and live in your condo. She's breaking it down to him about her degenerative eye disease and how it could eventually lead to blindness. He's an extrovert. Next thing you know, they get to the, will you marry me? And she's so excited because she just always talks about how she's just ready to be married. This is giving me, I just want to be married, and whoever proposes to me, I'll say yes. And Joe is giving me, I don't know. He thinks he's ready, but he's not. He thinks he's ready, but he's not. I'm really not feeling this couple. And I can quickly see the bantering quickly emerging into arguments. So I'm going to need to keep an eye on this. Then we got to see Nick and Kate. Don't like this couple either. I don't like what's going on with them. Nick, to me, he's a little bit socially awkward. He's really socially awkward. So I'm not feeling good about them. Annie. And then when Nick was talking to Annie, the salon owner, 29, I wasn't feeling that conversation either. Some of these conversations, honestly, they don't feel like the people are really connecting. I feel like they're trying to say they're connected, but they're connecting on things that are not sustainable. They're not really foundational things that they're connecting on. That's why I'm not feeling good about any of these matches. And then when Nick starts asking Annie about where's the craziest place you've done it, I don't even know why women answer that question when a man asks you that. Don't answer that question. If a man asks you a question, Basically, he's asking you, describe your last sexual encounter with a whole nother man. Who wants that image? Right? Who really wants the image? And you give them one. And then he starts talking about on a balcony somewhere. Why do that? Just if a person asks you that question, you don't have to refuse, but you can say, you know what? I know what I would like to do. You could tell them about a fantasy you have, something that you could look forward to doing with them, but I would not be describing a sexual encounter I had with a whole nother man when I'm interested in a new man. Ugh. I mean, would you really want a guy telling you that? You know, would you really want a guy explaining you in detail what he did to another woman? No, people don't do this. Don't do this. And that's why, in a lot of ways, like I said, I'm not with Nick. And I don't even like him because of that question, to be honest with you. But it doesn't matter because Annie really said that she really liked Brendan more. She said that was her real match. They're sitting around dreaming about life together. They talked about a lot about their childhood, being safe, secure, and loved, and about the life they envision themselves going forward. So she's really saying that's her number one connection. And when I listen to their conversations, at least their conversations do seem to be on a bit more deeper level. And then next thing you know, we got to watch Edmund kissing the floor. KB, walk away. This is too much, KB. I know KB wants to save the world with her social work degree. She probably got a master's degree too. And this is not where you start. This is not what you do. Keep work, and keep your love life separate because Edmund needs a lot of therapy. And he's on the floor, kissing the floor. KB said that she's an alpha woman. And she says that she has typically thought she needed an alpha man. And she knows right now Edmund is not an alpha male because he's running around. He barely can keep himself together, let alone lead a woman. And so right now she's questioning whether or not she needs an alpha male. Well, I'll tell you this, KB, you don't need an alpha male. I'm gonna tell you that. So if that's a question in your mind that you're an alpha woman because you do like to lead, you like to leave, you like to save, you like to rescue, you like to come up with plans, procedures, all of that. All of that. You love it. You love it. You love it. It makes you feel good, which means you're right. You can't be with an alpha male because he's going to want to do all that. And then what the two of you will do is you'll butt heads. So are you correct in that you don't need an alpha male? Yes, you're correct. You don't need one. But what you got over here in Edmund, what's the opposite of alpha? They call them beta men. Girl, right now, I don't even think Edmund's a beta. Right now, Edmund, just like we saw, he's on the floor. He ain't even standing upright. You got to at least get a man that's standing upright, KB. And I know she says she feels like she's known him forever. Yeah, you've known him forever because you've been doing case studies on people like him your whole life. That's why it sounds so familiar. He sounds so familiar because you've probably been studying in your undergrad degree, your master's degree, on the job, at your clinic, everywhere. It's very, very familiar but just because it's familiar don't mean you need to marry it. You don't need to marry this, KB. You don't. Now, what's interesting about these two, which I can see why they're bonding, is because of Edmund's background, having been abandoned. He has a desperate need for love. And KB, we're finding out that she too has been abandoned by her father. And so she has a desperate need to be loved and accepted by a man. By a man. You get what I'm saying on the end of that? It may not be with women, because she probably has a mother, girlfriends who make her feel that way. But the rejection of her father makes her crave that love and attention, and probably specifically from a black man. I said this in the last video, and I think some people got mad at me, but I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. A lot of women are out here in the world, and they're chasing men in today's world to fulfill the love that they wanted from their fathers. And sometimes that also prevents these women from looking at other type of men that will really be best suited for them, because they're not looking at where they are. They're not looking at what they need now. They're not looking at what type of man actually fits them in their life now. What they're still desperately trying to do is to repair a relationship from childhood, and they're trying to find a person in today's world to sort of plug that hole from their childhood. So what is KB doing with Edmund? Why must she rescue this man? Why? Is it reminding her something? Is it just reminding of her clients or of her patients? Or is he reminding her even deeper of a wound she has with her father? You see what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. I know she told the story and she asked Edmund, how have you forgiven your mom after what she's done to you, how she's possibly failed you in your life in terms of being able to provide for you and care for you and having to put you in foster care and to have done all this? How do you even forgive her? Because what KB is saying is, I struggle to forgive my father. I struggle to forgive my father. But listen, KB. When you look at what your father did in terms of abandoning you, you also need to look at it in context of his relationship with his mother. These aren't excuses, but you need a deeper understanding. You need to understand your mother's and your father's relationship. Some men abandon their children because they don't really want to have anything to do with the mother. Now, is it right? Is it right? It ain't right. But it's what happens. Sometimes the abandonment of fathers with their children has a lot to do with the fact that they don't want to deal with the mother at all. And they look at the children, even though the children are their seed. They are their seed. They will abandon those kids to totally get rid of and erase the memory of that mother. There were probably very toxic things going on in that relationship, because let me tell you something. When people are nurtured, both men and women, they don't want to leave. People leave because they're seeking something that they're not getting where they are. And unfortunately, when two people come together, things can fall apart. So what KB needs to stop always doing is classifying the rejection of her by her father to be solely about who she is, because unfortunately, some of his rejection of her is probably tied up into his rejection of her mother. And the sooner she can come to grips with that, she'll also maybe understand why it may not be possible for her to reclaim a relationship with that father, because the relationship with her father is so closely related to his relationship with her mother. And there might be nothing she can do about it. Nothing at all. Because to reclaim her relationship with her father, she would have to convince her father that she is separate from her mother. And that father may not be willing to do that. He may not be able to do that. He may not want to do that. We don't know. But what it will tell you is you are trying to fix something that you can't fix. And once you realize you can't fix it, you can just leave it alone. You can leave your daddy alone, and you can go on and build you a happier life. And what you won't keep trying to do is find a new man in 2025 to fix your old problem with your daddy. Because what you will realize is they don't go together. The two are not the same. We've got to stop linking our present to our past and trying to use our present relationships to work out old wounds of our past. Because why is KB with Edmund? Why, oh, why, oh, why? There's a story there. There's a story why she so desperately wants to be with this man, Edmund, who even behind the wall, you can tell some screws are loose. In his speech, in his commentary, there's some screw loose. I don't even need to see this man crawling on the floor to know that something ain't right. And for KB to choose this is not a wise choice. She's trying to heal something in herself whereby, one, she wants to be chosen. She wants a man who's going to choose her. I get it. He wants a woman that's going to make him part of a family. And that's what she said. My family will love you. They are both coming together in hoping for a healing, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be good together. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't mean they'll be good together. These types of relationships can sometimes make good friendships because as a friendship, you can also keep a level of distance. You're not so wrapped up in people's problems. But when you are married, you are very too closely tied. This is a type of thing where Edmund can be a friend of KB and he can be a surrogate member of her family, right? But it doesn't mean you should marry him, right? Oh my goodness. I just see a train wreck coming. It's too much. It's too much trauma coming together. I'm very, very concerned about them. We also have Megan, Sparkle Megan. I'm so done with Sparkle Megan. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Sparkle Megan. And at this point in time, Megan and this guy Mike, all they talk about is money. Um, Alluding to their money. What type of bed do you sleep in? I king size bed. I got a Tempur-Pedic mattress. All of this is just ah, ah. And they don't even agree. You know, Megan is an alpha female, but she's sitting over here trying to pretend like she can take a backseat to Mike, and it's not true. Even when she was running around talking about she likes to listen to white noise to help her sleep because probably her brain is always moving, and so she needs white noise to calm her down. Right? That's an alpha. That's more symptomatic of a person who's always got a lot of movement in their life. They need to learn how to relax. So white noise calms them down so they can sleep. But then Mike comes along and says, well, I don't want no white noise in the room because if an intruder comes, I want to be able to hear them. And then all of a sudden, Sparkle Megan says, okay, I agree. Girl, you don't agree. You don't agree. Why are you pretending like you're willing to take a backseat to Money Mike? That's what I'm going to start calling him, Money Mike. No, you're not. This is not going to work. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. And then she gets over here, Sparkle Megan. Once again, all she talks about is money, telling Blake that my friend's having a wedding in Lake Como and the wedding was $400,000, the venue alone. But when we go to the wedding, we can stop in London. Sparkle Megan is always talking and leading the conversation, and all Blake does is sit there and agree with her. He don't like Sparkle Megan. If you watch Blake, he agrees with everything Sparkle Megan says, and Sparkle Megan loves to lead the conversation. She's a leader. She's not going to be willing to follow Blake. She thinks she can lead. She's not going to be willing to follow Money Mike. She wants to lead Blake because she goes, oh, he's so commitment. But all Blake is doing is agreeing with her. He's not challenging anything she says. She loves being in a leader position. Nope. Sparkle Megan, I don't see you doing well with Mike. I don't see you doing well with Blake. Neither one. Blake says that Anna is really his top choice. He likes Anna the most. And it's interesting because Anna also likes Patrick. And they're bonding over the fact that they're both Asian, but neither one of them ever used to date an Asian. Well, why not? Why not? Why? I'm not saying that, the city got to be full of Asians, but I always find it interesting when people purposely do not date people from their race, right? I'm not saying interracial dating is not good because I actually think it is good. I don't have a problem with it, but I have a problem when people automatically exclude people from their race, and I need to know why. Why? Why do you do that? What don't you want to carry forward? And a lot of times people are so harmed by things that happen to them because of their race. For instance, a lot of times dark people are talked about. Like Patrick says, he's talked about. And then what happens is a lot of those people don't want to create those same traumas in their future generations for their children. So they try to water down the parts of them that they don't like that were harmful to them. And so that's just what I'm saying. That, like I said, people be trying to soothe their wounds by taking certain actions so that it doesn't go forward. And Patrick and Anna both talk a lot about how they were sort of looked over, passed over in the dating world because they're being Asian. But yet they never looked for comfort with another Asian because maybe the Asians were all trying to run away from each other. You see, it's just so weird, but you got to look at it. You got to really investigate it. But here they are now, Patrick and Anna talking to each other. But let me tell you why I'm not convinced. One is Anna was really selling it hard to Patrick, selling it real, real hard to Patrick. She was basically telling him, you found your match. I'm your match. I'm the one you want. She really was, I'm telling you, doing a sales job on him. And I just kept saying, why is she trying this hard to convince Patrick that he should not go with a white woman, but he should go with her? Now, what was so interesting about it, at the end, we saw that Anna ghosted Patrick. At the end, she didn't even show up for the date. Now, remember, Blake had asked Anna, have you ever ghosted a person? And you know what Anna said? I have. And that was a test. That was a real test. Because what I believe it was a test for was Blake didn't like that characteristics of Anna having ghosted. I know she tried to make it all sweet and clean it up, but he didn't like it. And then lo and behold, we find Anna has ghosted Patrick. We don't know why. I'm only on episode 2. I didn't watch episode 3. But what the heck happened to Anna? Why, after doing such a hard sales job on Patrick, did she all of a sudden ghost him at the date? Is she not coming back because she is not ready to go and date an Asian and she does want to go back and date Blake? You see, they're trying to break an old habit. Remember, Patrick and Anna are trying to break a habit of both of them dating white people. And what Anna's trying to convince Patrick is, take a chance on me. Go against what you normally do and choose me. But in her trying to convince Patrick to choose her, she's also got to be convinced to choose Patrick because it's not even her normal pattern, right? So I'm wondering, Anna, did you not even believe your own hype? Did you hype up Patrick so much that he's willing to say, yes, I'm all in, I'm going to choose you? But then Anna, you get scared and you don't do it. Are you ghosting Patrick so you can just go back and choose Blake? Are you kidding me? This is what I mean. When you bring trauma or you bring trauma the way that it's influencing your decisions, can you go through with it? Can you go through with it? See, Patrick has what he's used to in Casey. Now that Casey has asked all the really deep questions, Patrick had to tell Casey that he was Asian and specifically that he was Chinese and half Cambodian. It took forever for him to get that out. You would think that Patrick had to reveal something something horrible besides the fact that he's Chinese and Cambodian. It was painful to watch a person to be so ashamed of who they are that he didn't even want to tell her. And he was willing to not tell her to what? For her to then see it and then still reject you. So if she really had a problem with you being Asian, what difference does it make, Patrick? She would have either rejected you in the past or she would reject you once she saw you. But Casey went on to say that I'm of the Mormon culture. In the Mormon culture, we are taught to love people regardless of their ethnicity. And so I come from a very interracial family. My sister, my older brother, he only dates Asians. My other brother has half Mexican, half Black wife. So rest assured, that's not going to be a problem with me. But where's the part that Patrick still was afraid of? Patrick was still afraid of rejection. and he got a little twisted up in that sort of TikTok example that Casey said, where the reason why she chose a man over social media was for her looks and how they started following each other. Honestly, I don't even know why Casey was so embarrassed about that, but it really, really rubbed Patrick the wrong way. Because once again, he got triggered by the fact that Casey admitted that she could pick a person over looks alone. And he got really afraid that, wow, now she knows that I'm Cambodian and I'm Chinese. Now what happens when she sees me physically? And if she's a person who likes men based on physical attraction, he's even scared more. Ugh. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if all of a sudden maybe they're tricking us. Is Anna going to come back? Is Anna gone forever? Is Anna gone over there with Blake? Is Patrick going to have to pivot to Casey? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I don't know. But anyway, that's all I got, y'all. A lot of questions. But honestly, y'all, I'm not feeling good about anyone. Maybe when I get to episode 3 or 4, I'll start to feel better. But right now, here on episode 2, I'm scared, y'all. I am really scared. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I'll see you on episode 3. Bye.